I want to bring up this tweet here. Now, this is from you. This was just before the show. From being told I was too small to wrestle for NGW at Butlins to main event in their biggest event ever, Golden Boy on top. Now, I mean, obviously that main event spot, we'll talk about the match, but that obviously meant so much to you. But yes. I mean, reflecting back on when you were told that you were too small to, main event or to perform for NGW at their Butlin shows, to then, main event in their biggest show ever, however many years later, what did that mean to you?
It meant more as a person rather than as a performer. And that tweet wasn't like in terms of like trying to throw shade or any disrespect or anything like that. It was purely to show where I've come. So to give some background to the statement was, we used to do Butlins shows for NGW where we'd go 6 days a week, 6 weeks in the summer, go from every single Butlins camp in the country. And it was some of the best times of my life. But because of my age and my size and stuff, I had to referee. And I understand the reasons why. I got told the reasons why. So that tweet was purely like, hey, this is how far I've come, and I'm very proud that I was once a referee and now I'm headlining their biggest show ever. So that was purely a cool tweet to put out, because I was like, I finally get to say this. I've come from here and I'm here now.
Yeah, absolutely. And just thinking back to that evening when you had that main event match, stepping behind the curtain or just stepping through the curtain, where was your head at? I'm sure that there was maybe some nerves, but maybe a lot of excitement as well, knowing that, the occasion, the enormity of it all, and maybe your first ever steel cage match.
I'm in a weird place with it in terms of mentally, in the sense of I used to, and I know a lot of wrestlers feel the same, used to be so nervous until you step through the curtain. Once you step through the curtain, you're fine. Everybody fears that moment just before, because you're like, oh, what if everything goes wrong and all this and that? But as soon as you step through the curtain, I'm generally fine. But in the past 6 months, my feeling before a match is a lot different. Not that I'm too casual or anything, but in my mind, I'm like, okay, cool. I'm about to perform now. And it was the same here. I wasn't as nervous as I thought I'd be for a big opportunity. I was more excited to perform and be like, okay, this is the time. Because I know, again, a lot of the wrestlers feel the same, because a lot of other boys were watching. That gives you a bit of motivation. It's like, okay, let's show everybody, let's show all the boys why I'm here, and let's prove to them why I got that opportunity instead of necessarily some other people. So it also gives you a bit of a kick to get going. And I wasn't as nervous as I thought I'd be, which I'm very surprised by. I kind of just like, okay, we're on, cool, let's go. And then once I'm through, I'm in the zone.
We saw the gear earlier, but that entrance, that entrance alone is just shout superstar all day long. But the cage now, looking at that, it just reminded me of like old school WWF steel cage. You feel like King Kong Bundy and Hulk Hogan WrestleMania 2 sort of steel cage. But I mean, what was it like to wrestle in that cage? And I can only imagine, with it being kind of like solid steel cage, that it was quite punishing, but gave you a little bit of freedom to kind of experiment while you were in there too.
Yeah, it was weird, because usually when I wrestle, the next day or the day after, I'm like, oh, my back, I can feel my back a little bit from landing on my back and taking those bumps. After this steel cage match, it was all my forearms, because every time I got flung into the cage, I'd rather take pain in my forearms than in my face. So I woke up like, I was some bruised forearms. I was like, I can feel my arms. I'm gonna have to have a few days off the gym because I can't really move them. So it was a different type of pain than I'm used to. Again, because you're used to just absorbing so much from your back. It was a bit of a sore one, to be honest, in its own way.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know that you're a bit of a wrestling historian. You love your kind of old school characters and you love your pro wrestling. But did you kind of, how did you prep for a match like that? How could you prep for a match like that? Because if it's your first ever steel cage match, I mean, did you kind of watch a lot of old school stuff, or maybe prep in a slightly different way?
It's a unique one. I think it all depends on what audience you're performing in front of. To what, obviously, you can take ideas from every single type of steel cage match that's ever happened, whether it's a cool thing off the top of the cage or one little thing. You can take ideas from everything, but I think in terms of the story we're going to tell and how we're going to wrestle, I think you've got to look at what audience NGW is. And NGW it's not too family, it's not too indie, it's a nice middle ground. So I think I looked at a lot of maybe 90s. I think there was an Owen Hart Bret Hart cage match that I watched. There's a Flair and Dusty Rhodes that I looked at just to see how they told a story within the cage, because I know that that's what that audience wants, is that story. They want to see me get beaten up or me do this to Nathan and Nathan gets back on me. They want to see that happen. So that's what we tried to deliver.
Absolutely. Now, in preparation for this, I kind of went through your socials. Also, it gives me a great insight into the individual and, you know, their kind of past, their history, what they like to talk about. And this tweet here, proudest moment for my mum. Obviously, there's the picture of your entrance there as well. And like I said at the top, that was probably maybe one of the best moments of your career, having that match with Nathan in his steel cage, over 1,000 people in Hull. But you described it there as one of the proudest moments of your life.
Yes. For various personal reasons. It was one of the coolest moments of my life, only because of a journey that I've been through for the past few years. To get to that point was cool. It was like, okay, I've gone through all this stuff and I'm here now and I can keep going. So that's why it was such a proud moment for myself. People who know what's happening, I will obviously go into detail, but it was, again, a similar story to the Butlins to now. I've gone from here to where I am now. And that's it was more of a journey to that moment that I was proud of. And then that moment kind of like captured that picture captured it.
100%. I'm sure that's a moment at a match and a night that you'll remember forever.